All right, welcome back. Season 2 Fantasy Rivals. PJ. Wow, PG.
Who?
PJ here with my best friend, accountant, and fantasy rival, Mark. What's up, man?
Not much. Glad we got the season underway.
I hate your shirt. I hate it so much.
They're 2-0.
Notre Dame. They're not even good, too. You know they're going to choke it away.
No, they play. I forget who they play. They play Wisconsin soon. Wisconsin also sucks.
Wisconsin's not good this year, but all I'm saying is they've looked terrible in their first 2 games. They could have dropped both games.
Could have.
And once they lose, it might open up some room for our Hawkeyes to slide into the top 4 spot.
No, Notre Dame's behind us. We're fine.
I thought you said they were 2.
No, 2-0.
Oh, 2-0. I thought you said they were ranked 2nd. I was like, what?
No.
I was going to say that's weak.
But
that's not why we're here.
No. NFL.
No. We're here to talk about the pros, the guys getting paid. I guess everybody's about to start getting paid.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But
they're all pros.
But these guys are making big bucks. So I say kick it off, sit, start. That's what everybody wants to know. Who are we playing this week? Week 2, obviously. There's still a lot of stuff up in the air. I mean, last week there were a lot of anomalies, like the Packers losing 38-3. You know,
Getting
whooped 38-3. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they got spanked
by Jameis.
So it's still pretty early in the season. There's going to be some names now that sound good that later this year we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we ever recommended somebody start that person. But let's roll with it. Who do you got? Who's your favorite? And again, I tried to not pick too big of names, people that you might be considering at flex if you have someone better, because there's a lot of obvious starts, right?
Yes. And this one's probably an obvious start, but he didn't perform as well last week as a lot of people I'm sure were expecting. It's Najee Harris. Like they played the Bills last week, who were pretty good. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. They did win, which was huge for the Steelers, but like the guy had he played every snap this week. So, I mean, it's very encouraging, only going up from there. And they get Las Vegas this week, who let Tyson and Latavius Murray kind of run all over him. So I'm pretty excited about Najee this week.
Yeah, they did. And Najee was one of those guys. We talked about it. I was between Eckler and Najee, and I ended up going Eckler. But I love Najee Harris. And I think eventually in that offense, like you said, he's on the field every play.
Right.
I mean, come on, take the numbers, right? And last week, I thought the whole offense looked horrible for the most part. Big Ben did not look good. I thought the Bills lost that game for themselves. But I think moving forward, I mean, as long as the game script's in his favor, Najee should get a lot of touches.
Yeah, and that defense is obviously their best side of the ball. So what they want to do, play good defense, not turn it over, let Najee run it a bunch if they have to. Like, don't let Ben mess this up for you.
No, and man, I can't believe he's still the quarterback there. Like, they didn't look to draft anyone this year. Like, what are they doing? Their backups, Mason Rudolph
and Dwayne Haskins. So they picked him up from Washington.
All right.
So they're probably taking a flyer on him.
Yeah, but I agree. I think Najee's going to have a big week, and I think he's going to have a big season. So I'm on board for that. For me, someone that I love, and obviously I'm a little bit biased by this, I'm starting him in my flex this week, is Antonio Brown, the 3rd wide receiver on the Bucs. Last week, he looked like the old Antonio Brown too. The way he was moving in and out of his cuts, burn him for a deep ball. I think he went 5 for 120 yards and a touchdown. And honestly, Mike Evans, he was on my do not draft list this year with Godwin and Antonio Brown, because Evans had like 13 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. But like the volume wasn't really there for me. So you had to feel there's going to be some negative touchdown regression coming, right?
Yes. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. I do kind of see Evans, though. Back to Evans real quick, is that I think he'll take over more of Gronk's red zone touchdowns. Gronk had 2 last week.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right.
But Tom's always had a weird thing for Antonio Brown. Like, the guy likes him a lot.
He loves the guy. And I get it. Antonio Brown lived with him.
Yeah, he's like, he's probably the best receiver he's ever played with, but
you're forgetting one guy.
Am I?
Randy Mouse.
Wes Welker.
Mr. Mouse.
True.
Yeah,
I should say in like the past 10 years.
Yeah, you're right, though. Antonio Brown's got to be a top 3 receiver Tom Brady's ever played with, at least when it comes to like full career. But I love him this week. the Eagles ripped up Atlanta last week.
Oh, so they play Atlanta, right?
Right. So Jalen Hurts threw for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Again, you're gonna have the third corner covering AB. Like, I just don't see them being able to do it. And the only way I would be nervous about starting Antonio Brown, Godwin, or Evans is if they get up crazy big early, and then there's just nothing in the second half. But
and you just hope that it's not like a rotating thing each week, like one week.
And it very well could be, but by week 2, we don't know. But either way, I like Antonio Brown this week. And I honestly, I like him. I like him this season. I think he's going to have a big year.
Me too. 1 second.
Okay. So am I just supposed to entertain these people?
Dance. Do something funny.
Oh no, you're in slow-mo. There you go. You're back.
That's just how I walk. So I did pick another guy that I wanted to start this week that probably hits a little close home to you. I know you have Russ on your team, so I really like DK against Tennessee. So
okay,
I didn't want to pump you up too much with saying Russ, but yeah, they play the Titans. DeAndre Hopkins went off against them. They gave up the second most points to receivers last week, and Tennessee looks to be a little bit in shambles. I don't know if I buy it totally, but I'm willing to ride with the Seahawks, and they looked pretty good against the Colts too last week.
Yeah. So what's funny is I have Tyler Lockett as one of my starts.
There you go.
Pretty much for the same reason. Tyler Lockett, we'll stick with Arizona, Tennessee. Arizona shredded Tennessee, like we talked about. Kyler went for almost 304 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So obviously that secondary is just turned around. And for me, I went Tyler Lockett because he did have a couple long catches. He had a long touchdown last week, and he's that guy where he's going to get behind your secondary. So for me, I agree. I think DK needs to have a bounce back week because wasn't he pretty pedestrian last week?
I could find his numbers. I don't know.
Actually, I think he ended up scoring a touchdown, I want to say. But I feel like the first half was looking pretty slow for him.
Yeah, 4 for 16, a touchdown.
4 for 16, a touchdown, which I mean, again, not bad. But DK is one of those guys where you're nervous he's going to go for 8 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns every week.
Mm-hmm. And I think Lockett only had 4 catches too, but he was over 100 yards.
He did. Is what he does. Right. Yep. So, but again, it's going to be open. And Russ, I mean, the Seattle offense is different. They have that new offensive coordinator who wants to open up the book a little bit and let Russ throw. I mean, this could end up last year. I think Russell Wilson had the most passing touchdowns of his career at 40. So I'd like to see him hit that. Let's go for 50. And we have that extra game, right?
And that's with an OC who wanted to run the ball like an exorbitant amount
every play.
And like, instead of letting their best player throw the ball, which
it was unbelievable. But I think we're on board this week. Hell, start all your Seahawks. You guys, Carson, start Chris Carson too. Yeah, love it. All right, what do you got next?
So obviously you're starting.
Start each.
What's that?
One more. Go ahead.
Okay, this guy's obviously a start every week, no matter what. But I just saw the matchup was prime. It's Travis Kelce. He gets Baltimore after Darren Waller tore them to shreds.
Yeah, he did.
Obviously, you're starting all Chiefs skill players that you have.
I might start an offensive line and it flex.
Kyle Long's on the team. Go for it. But yeah, Waller had over 100 yards against them. Baltimore, I don't know how I feel about them. Like, let alone offensively or defensively. Like, they should have won that game on Monday by a lot.
Oh yeah.
And not even lost in OT, but either way, short week for Baltimore as well. So also concerning.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Baltimore either. I know that's kind of spinning off from where we're at, but just initial thoughts. Lamar Jackson's been one of those guys I've never really been able to figure out. From a fantasy perspective, yeah, he's a monster, but like when it comes to an NFL team, is that the guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl? Right. And my biggest thing for him is he's one hit away from his whole career never being the same. Look what happened to Robert Griffin III, right? His rookie year, and he got hurt in the playoff game. He was on a miracle run his rookie year. And they made the playoffs, and then he had that knee injury, and he was never the same, man. And Lamar's whole thing is his lateral movement, So, and his arm isn't there for me. So if you get down big with Lamar as your quarterback, and I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but if, you get down big with Lamar as your quarterback, I don't think he's the guy that's going to be able to bring it back.
And I believe I've seen that he's never beaten the Chiefs yet, which as the top, I mean, not many teams have, of course, but like if you want to take the next step, you got to kind of beat the best team in the NFC once in a while.
Yep. 100%. So that'll be a good matchup this week too.
Mhm.
Moving along, my last start, one of our boys, one of our farm bred boys. Do you know who it's going to be?
If you say George Kittle,
No.
Oh, good.
Come on, man. TJ Hockenson. Tight end.
I was pretty close.
Well, yeah, you got the score right. Tight end you. TJ Hockenson, tight end for the Detroit Lions. Last week, Goff was just hammering him with targets. I mean, because one, they don't have anyone on the outside. And two, I don't think Goff would be able to throw it to the outside, even if they had someone available. So for me, I think TJ Hockenson, I think he's going to finish top 3 at tight end this year. I think he might actually finish ahead of Kittle. And I mean, they're playing Green Bay this week, who last week was an anomaly against New Orleans, that bad loss. But I see them needing to throw. I don't know why they wouldn't be, and that should be all year.
Yeah, I agree. Like last week too, they got down big, and they made that big comeback, and they had to throw the ball to come back, which I'm kind of predicting again against Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay will play as badly as they did, like you said.
I don't know.
And it's Hockenson and Tyrell Williams are your 2 top targets. So like, obviously you're going to TJ all the time. Like,
yeah,
I feel really good about him, even though his team's not good, playing him every week, especially this week.
Yeah, I agree. Especially it's such a thin position. It's such a thin position.
Yeah, it falls off really quick at tight end.
Let's go the other way. Who do you hate?
So I hate, this was kind of a surprise. I think a lot of people had him starting.
Surprise yourself?
Who'd you say?
Surprise yourself?
Surprise myself. Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
No catches last week.
No catches
for the San Francisco 49ers.
I didn't think he had a target either. And Trent Sheffield had looked better than him last week, who I never heard of until Sunday.
Just heard of him now for the first time.
Sounds like a great guy.
But
until Brandon Aiyuk is playing the majority of the snaps, getting looks, especially from Jimmy G, who's going to target Kittle, obviously, and Debo apparently. I need to see way more from Brandon before I feel comfortable playing him.
So I agree 100%. And he was drafted like relatively high, and I didn't fully understand it when I saw him there. He was one of those guys I'm like, not touching him. But just the 49ers in general, again, off topic. How long does Jimmy G stay the starter?
Well, Trey Lance is 1 for 1 with a touchdown. Hard to beat those numbers. This is tricky because they are a playoff team
with him,
with Jimmy still.
Yeah.
So I say
they were a Super Bowl team with Jimmy.
Correct. And if they don't start to lose, I don't see them making a change.
I know.
I'm very conflicted on this because I do think Trey Lance gives them the best chance to win eventually. It's just, what do you call it, midway through the season? But what if they're like 6-2? You gonna switch it up then?
I don't know how you can. I think you just do what they're doing, mix in some packages for him, let him get his feet wet. And then, I mean, Jimmy's been hurt a couple times over the last few years, I think. So, right. It could just be a ticking time bomb too. But while we're on it, one of my do not starts is actually Eli Mitchell this week, which I picked up on the waiver wire, right? Running back for the San Francisco 49ers. Raheem Mostert killed me last week with his 2 carries. And then he's like, they said 8 weeks. He's like, no, I'm just going to get knee surgery. I'll take the whole year off. So thanks, Raheem.
Cool.
So one of the biggest ads on the waiver wire this week was Eli Mitchell, who stepped in last week and rushed for 100 yards and a touchdown after Mostert went down. I think it was 19 carries, 140 yards. And a touchdown.
He looked good.
And Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch last week. So here's my reason for a sit is I did like the performance that Mitchell put on, especially in his first game. He was a 6th-round pick. But Sermon wasn't it. Right? Sermon's going to be suited up this week. And I heard rumors last week that he got healthy scratch because he was at a strip club the night before. Unconfirmed. Just telling you what my
cannot confirm. We're not journalists.
Just telling you. No, we are not. I'm just telling you what my sources told me. And that honestly, something like that has to make sense because it was not on anyone's radar that man was going to be sitting or scratched rather.
Yeah. I mean, again, Shanahan's, even back to his dad, Mike, they love to just take obscure running backs and have him run for 1,000 yards no matter what. So I don't feel. I obviously want to. I'm in wait and see mode with that backfield.
That's how I feel too. That's why he's a sit for me.
Yeah, and obviously Sermon's going to get top billing because they took, I think, a 3rd round pick with him. So like they're going to give him opportunities. So I feel comfortable staying away no matter what. But again, they could still win, and it's like, okay, Elijah Mitchell this week, Jermichael Hasty this week, Trey Sermon this week, and it's going to drive fantasy owners nuts.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I have him at that point. I think he's a great stash. I think he's a great add to a bench because whoever ends up getting a majority of the touches in that backfield,
yes,
plug and play, is going to be an RB1.
Mm-hmm. They're great running offense.
Yeah. So that's why I'm avoiding him this week, but definitely keeping an eye on him. I'm not out on him by any means this season.
Definitely.
All right, who you killing?
So speaking of injuries, I am killing Terry McLaurin. Actually,
Scary Terry?
We're playing tonight, actually, and it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with Taylor Heineke.
Not a Heineke fan, huh?
I'm not. I'm a Fitzmagic fan. So when he broke his hip like the 40-year-old man he is, I was pretty bummed out. I'm not expecting a lot of Taylor Heineke. Shocking. No? So, and obviously Terry's, production will suffer because of that. Expect a lot of Antonio Gibson tonight. Probably they're going to probably want to run the ball, get their defense back on track because the Herbert-led Chargers kind of tore him up a bit. But I think against Daniel Jones and the Giants, they'll be better.
Well, that's the thing. It's the Giants, and the Giants are going to be a bottom 6 team in football.
That's safe to say. Yeah.
Right. I mean, in the worst division too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I don't hate Taylor Heineke. I think as a backup, like he's one of those guys that can come in and he can win you a game. He did it last week. Or no, they ended up losing.
No, yeah.
But
not him. But he could.
Offense wasn't moving until he came in. He scrambles around. He's kind of like your generic high school quarterback is what he looks like.
Which is my concern in the pros.
True. But point being is, I don't know. I feel like he manages the game okay. I thought he played admirably in that playoff game last year.
He did against the Bucks. Yes.
Right.
I'm not expecting that to be consistent.
No, but what I'm saying is we know how bad backup quarterbacks are in this league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's fine.
Right. For me, he's fine. He's serviceable. That defense is awesome. Fitzmagic, I think he's out through week 8.
Right.
So I mean, if they can stay at 4-4, 5-3, like,
yeah, no, definitely. But the way to do that
tonight
is to give it to Antonio Gibson and then play great defense with your pass.
No, I agree, 100%. So, they need to control the ball. Antonio Gibson too. High expectations for him coming into this year.
Yes, yeah. So I'm expecting to see a lot more touches, maybe more production out of him tonight, but not much.
So circling back to Scary Terry, it's strictly because of Heineke.
Yeah, right.
There's Terry's not like a matchup that scares you or anything. It's just
the Giants defense is fine, but not not world beaters or anything.
No, for sure. All right.
Who do you have?
Robbie Anderson, wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. They're playing against New Orleans, who again just shut down Green Bay, shut down Devontae Adams, shut down MVS. They had everyone. They had Aaron Rodgers shut down. That defense, I'm telling you, in the way Jameis Winston looks right, or at least looked week 1, that defense alone could take them to the playoffs. It really didn't matter who the quarterback was.
Are they a legit threat to the Bucs to win the division?
I think they are.
Ooh.
I mean, that division's obviously going to come down to 2 games.
Yeah.
When they play each other, at each of their respective stadiums.
You're not worried about the Falcons or the Panthers. That's the other team.
No, not worried about either of those 2 teams. But Robbie Anderson, he had 1 catch last week, and it was like for 50-something yards and a TD. But he's their number 1. And Sam Darnold is also with a new team. They're just trying to feed Christian McCaffrey. Let's be honest, right?
Well, DJ Moore too. I mean, between the 2 of them, they're probably 1A, 1B, however you want to sort it out.
Yeah, but he is listed as number 1. Robbie is listed on the official team site as the number 1.
And everyone's like trying to pick up McCaffrey scraps.
Yeah, I mean that's
they're going to give him the ball the majority of the time.
He looked so good last week too.
Yeah,
and he killed me last year.
He's going to play all 17 this year. Watch.
100%.
No doubt.
He's missed one game his whole life until last year. And then he just decided to miss like all of them.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Robbie Anderson. Honestly, probably DJ Moore. I think I'm just fading wide receivers for Carolina this week because, again, that New Orleans defense was just outstanding last week.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Rodgers looked terrible. I never seen him play that bad.
He did skip OTAs and he didn't play any preseason games. So, like,
hates his family.
And his family hates him.
So
I'm going to Green Bay tomorrow.
Oh, for a wedding, right?
Yeah.
Fun.
Like, I just hope I don't burn as I roll into the city.
Yeah.
Or burn the city down as I roll in.
Don't do that.
No. To all our Green Bay fans, I'm sorry.
The one guy who watches is yelling at his screen right now.
All right, who you got? Last one.
Yeah, speaking of Bears rivals, I am sitting Kirk Cousins.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, they did not look great against the Bengals. His numbers though were like if you just looked at the box score, I think he still threw for 300 yards. So like it looks okay. But they play the Cardinals, and Chandler Jones alone had 5 sacks on Tannehill.
Yeah.
So, and that Vikings O-line is kind of a work in progress themselves. So I'm worried about Kirk's health.
No, I completely agree. I was almost fading Adam Thielen actually for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Who actually looked pretty good last week.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, and I think Cook played like probably not his best or anything, but like he's fine. So maybe we'll see more of them. But yeah, I'm worried that Arizona's defense looked good. I don't know if that was just against the Titans or what.
Well, exactly. And that's the thing about a small sample size of
one game.
Anything can literally infinite, outcomes. So
mm-hmm.
No, I like that. I like that pick. For me, I'm benching Mark Ingram against Cleveland. The same Mark Ingram that had 26 carries last week. 26 carries.
That was a shock to me.
He's like 40.
And they have Philip Lindsay and David Johnson on the roster. Right.
Like Lindsay's 24. Give Ingram a break.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but anyways, that was strictly game flow dependent. They were playing against the Jags
and winning.
Who, again, are going to be the worst team in football, even with Trevor Lawrence. They're still going to suck, at least in the short term. But Mark Ingram, again, Cleveland has a great D line too.
Yes.
And Ingram averaged I think he was like on the 26 touches, he finished with like 85 yards.
Right.
You're my accountant, but I'm pretty sure that's like
less than 4
3.5 yards a carry. On a pretty large sample size.
Yeah.
So for me, I know Mark Ingram was a pretty big pickup this week. A lot of people, and I get it with that volume alone.
Yeah.
So he's not a bad bench stash just to see what happens, but my gut says you're going to be able to use him a limited amount this year because Houston's going to be getting rocked by most teams out there.
Right. And you're probably not only going to use him like on when you have bye weeks for guys and like.
Right. Like you're desperate because half the running backs just died in the league.
Exactly.
Which happens by like week 7.
Mm-hmm. So as long as you have someone getting 20 touches a game, you're in good shape then.
Oh, I love volume. I'm a big volume guy.
Yeah.
I get it. So, but I am fading him this week against, again, a great Cleveland front.
Yes.
All right, let's move to the lines. Our favorite betting picks of the week. Now that betting is legal in Illinois. Today is sponsored by Rivers Casino. Maybe
no free ads.
I'll tag them. Let's see if they hit us up.
Okay. Yeah. So I like 3 games, and I was thinking about this a lot, and I was thinking like so early in the season, normally you're going to want to take a team that's getting points because everyone's kind of figuring things out. And then I ended up picking 2 favorites. So
yeah, me too. I took 1 underdog and 2 favorites.
So I'm not even smart enough, like when there's no money involved right now, to figure it out. But here's my 1 underdog that I'm taking after I kind of crapped on them earlier. I'm taking Tennessee plus 6.5 against Seattle.
Plus 6.5.
That's a lot of points for a team that made the playoffs last year. Like
that technically should have only gotten better.
Right? At least on offense.
With the addition of Julio Jones.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's a lot of points to lose by when you have Derrick Henry too. So I'm expecting a bounce back game, even if they don't win, at least to keep it within a touchdown.
They lost by 25 last week.
Yep.
All right. Our bold pick of the day.
Analysis.
Personally, I'm not touching that. But hey, to each their own. For me, first one I got is I'm taking the Saints -3.5 against Carolina.
You are all over the Saints.
I'm all over the Saints, man, because for years, since Jameis was a free agent and no one wanted to sign him, I wanted the Bears to go after him. You know why? Because we can't move the football ever, ever.
Here we go.
We have good defenses and we can't. I would rather us throw for 400 yards a game, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks than watch this garbage.
We don't have a defense anymore, though.
No, but 2 years ago when I wanted us to pick them up, we did.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, but anyway, I thought Jameis looked great. And again, I think I'm more on the Saints D. And Carolina, they beat the Jets last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even like, I didn't feel great about it either.
Yeah. Sam Darnold revenge game too.
Right. And it was mediocre at best.
You said that's -4 for the Saints?
-3.5.
3.5.
I'm going to wait on that and see if the line moves because I'd much rather get it at 3. Or obviously 2.5. But that's my first pick. All right. What do you got next?
My next one, I've been kind of harping on these guys a lot too. Pittsburgh -5.5 against the Raiders.
You're taking Pittsburgh -5.5.
Correct.
Wow. After the Raiders' big win on Sunday night.
I thought that was so fluky that like they had no business being in that game. I only think the Steelers offense gets better from here against a worse Raiders defense than the Bills. And like I said earlier, Najee's probably having a better game. So I'm so off on the Raiders. I thought that was some of the worst football I've ever seen. And I may just pick every time the Raiders play and pick against them.
I honestly, I've known you a long time. Didn't know you were so anti-Raider.
Me neither till this week.
Why, you hate John Gruden, huh?
Sure.
Speaking of which, do you think John Gruden still got it, or do you think he got lucky once? And then he was the football guru.
No, I think he was a good coach. I just think he has too much control. He's got too much sway over who he drafts and stuff. Like,
right.
Just coach.
Just coach, dude. Shut up and coach.
Yeah.
Shut up and play, LeBron.
Do it. Yeah.
So I'm probably personally not touching that one either. So well done, Mark.
Thank you.
My second one, I'm taking Arizona -3.5 against Minnesota. Again, Kyler Murray looked unreal, and this is another one I'm hoping to get it -3. But they looked so good last week.
They did.
And Minnesota did not. And that's really all you need to know when it comes to pretty much a field goal game.
And Arizona looked good on both sides of the ball, which is
both sides. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, if their defensive line is playing the way that they did, I mean, yeah, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks, but there had to be there had to be other stuff going on for him to have the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean?
So
some of the defensive stunts.
This acquisition of JJ Watt might even be bigger than we realized.
Well, because I think, yeah, it's huge. That's a great point because now they have to double. I mean, you got to double team JJ, but you can't because then you leave Chandler Jones open on the other side. Like,
have fun,
dude. And that offense is so fun to watch. So fun to watch. Hopefully Kyler can keep it going because last year he kind of faded. I don't know if teams started to figure him out or if he got tired or what, but week 11-ish, he started to fade a little bit and then they blew their chance at the playoffs.
Yeah. But hey, he looked like he's kind of found it again, which is
good. Yeah. I think they're a playoff team this year, 100%. And again, like I said, 3.5 against Minnesota.
Take it. Whoops.
Sucky,
my eyes are up here.
Sucky. Hey. My eyes are up here.
Speaking of 3.5, my final pick as I'm
I thought you were gonna say
no. I like that too.
3.5.
No, that was the spread in the last game, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chiefs at the Ravens. So back to this Monday night game
that's only 3.5.
Only 3.5. Back to this Monday night game that I obviously set football back 50 years where I'm talking about it, but I don't think the Ravens haven't figured out yet. Kansas City's still the best offense in football, far and away. Kansas City, I thought, was in a close game last week, and they won by more than 3.5 already. I think the Browns are better than the Ravens anyways. I'm taking Kansas City.
Yeah, I would actually agree with you on that. I'd probably take that too. Makes sense.
You don't hate all my picks.
No, just 2/3 of them. But I like 1/3 of them, and that's a Hall of Fame number if we're hitting 330.
That's right.
It's not going to make you money though if you're hitting 1 out of 3. But I agree, Chiefs are too good. That's just what it comes down to. And Baltimore choked away what should have been a win against what we don't know is a good team or not yet. You hate them.
I'm convinced they're not.
We'll see what happens with the Raiders. My last one, and this is my underdog pick, is I'm going to take the Dallas money line plus 158 against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we're against the Chargers, but I'm telling you, man, that offense is special. Special with Dak there. He looked good last week against Tampa Bay, who I think has a better defense than the Chargers. And we'll see, man. I don't know. The Chargers, they didn't win handily last week against Washington. I see plus 158. And I don't know. For me, I like the risk reward. I like the payout.
My only concern with that, which is why I'm not touching it, is that they just lost DeMarcus Lawrence on a defense that's already like
thin,
not their strong suit. So expect a lot of points in that game for sure.
I hope so. For a fantasy perspective, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I like the Dallas offense. I saw Los Angeles stall a little bit last week. Again, albeit a much better defense, but
yeah.
Why not?
Expect some fireworks.
Like the risk reward, baby.
Yeah. Playing 7-on-7.
Absolutely. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Do us a favor. Also hit the like button, turn on the bell so you get notifications because we're dropping these episodes every week.
Say something nice about us.
Say something nice about us. Mark, you got anything else to say or do we wrap it up here, bud?
I think that was well done. Good job.
All righty.
Go win some money with our picks.
That's right. Go win some money. Good luck in your fantasy games, and we will see you next week. I might cut that.